is Katie, the creator of KNF Design. I wanted to first thank you and welcome you to the 12 days of December. Now for the code itself, there is a few different layers. How it's going to work is for today's craft gift, we have what's a gift without a code to go with it. So this isn't just any code, it is actually a fun movable code. First, we need to size it. So let's first ungroup. Actually, I'm going to make it all a little bit bigger so we can read our text here. So this code is a 5x7, which means this blue rectangle here should be a 10 by 7, which it is clearly not. So we need to select it. Again, Cricut sometimes changes sizes and stuff, so we just have to go with it. I'll move my square over. That did not go with it. We want both of those selected, and we'll move that over. So now that our code is properly sized, we don't need that text, and we will delete it. Before we look at the code, let's go over here to our, these are actually envelopes. And as we can see, there's actually two different choice envelopes. One has a Santa hat cut out and one does not. I'm going to make these different colors so it's easier to see what we're working with here. Okay, there we go. So we have two envelopes. One is just a plain regular envelope and one has a Santa hat cutout. Now, if you have this cutout, we don't want to see through the code. So there's this little decorative piece that'll fit right behind it. And when you open the flap, it'll be fun and decorative on the one side, and it'll also show through to the hat on the other side. So just pick which envelope you want. You can also put the decorative piece on that one as well if it fits both. The envelope should be a 13.261 inch by 11.139 inches tall. And then again, there's two different. I should have mentioned here, with the envelope, we don't want to cut this line here, so we will want to change that to a score line. So let's do this one here. So we'll take that square, change it from the basic cut, and we'll do a score. If you want to do this one, then just do the same thing. And it'll become a dotted line. I'm going to use the fancy one, so I'm just going to delete those. We can delete our extra text. And you want this score line on the envelope. So, actually I shouldn't have, I need to know my sizes still. I haven't sized it yet, so we'll keep that till I size it. We want to keep that score line with the code itself, so just make sure that you go over and hit attach. And then this can be whatever color you want. Let's do a fun, maybe a fun red. Maybe the code will be red and this one will be green. It's whatever colors you would like to do. So now that that's all attached, we need to make it 13 inches wide, and it's only 7, so 13.261. It's a very big code, and that 13 will make it bigger than a standard mat, and I forgot to add that. I always tell you, make sure that all the pieces are together when you size. There we go. 13.261. And that's about that 11.379. It's close enough. Okay, so that, because it's 13 inches, that will take it to the next size mat, which is, it doesn't fit on the standard 12 by 12 mat. So you might, this could have to be a big 5 by 7 to get all the mechanisms working in it. That's why I had to do that. Unfortunately, it does need a big mat. You could just get a regular 5 by 7 envelope and do it that way if you want, which also means your cardstock has to be larger than normal, which is difficult to find. I have seen them at Michael's though. When you open up the door, and then you're going to pull down this tab, and this Santa is going to come down, and you'll see him in the door. Seems a little complicated, but don't worry, I'll walk you through everything. But in order to do that, we need to attach the brick to the lead house. Oh, I think I collected these now. The snow we want to do as a regular cut. Okay, so we want the brick and the red house. Brick, red house. And we want to attach them. Also, that brick that we just attached, we don't want it to cut it out. We want to draw a line. And you can pick a different color if you want. Let's do that color for now so it shows. And then we also want to other brick, we'll move it to the front so we can see it. We also want to attach that to the house. Let's change it for some basic cut to a pen. Yeah, what was that? Gemstone blue. Okay. So we got blue selected. It's pen. We'll change it to that gemstone. I'm not actually using that gemstone color, but I'll just do a nice gray. Okay, and then we will select the chimney pieces in that red house, and we will attach it. That way the Cricut knows you want those drawn there. That is a cut. There's a nice little cut there, and a cut there. Now, for this piece here, there's this line right here, and we want to change that to a score line. And then just make sure everything is attached. And then for our code as well, we want to not cut the code in half. Let's score it. If you don't have a scoring tool, either the scoring stylus or the scoring wheel, which is only available in the Maker, then you can just score it by hand. And then you'll also want to attach that. When you attach it, brings it to the front, that's all it's doing. Send it to the back so we can see all of the pieces here. And that looks like it's the door. We forgot the door. Okay, so we have a score line here on the door. Score. Then we are actually going to have a pen draw all those lovely details. So it's not too thin. That's fine being black, or it could be a dark brown. Nice. Go ahead and draw all those pieces, because that's kind of thin little details we don't want to have to mess with. And then select everything on the door and attach them so it doesn't get separated. Alright. Now this is just cardstock. We'll cut it and follow our instructions. Now we've cut all of our pieces out of cardstock, and I always do more pressure on my cardstock. I went ahead and folded my card. I did not do the envelope just because this is a 5x7 card, it needs a really large envelope, so I'm just going to use my own envelope instead of cutting one. For your door, you want to fold it like that backwards, and then for Santa, we'll fold him up towards us. So those are 2 score lines that we created. And I ended up doing a black and a dark brown. I think a white would be really pretty on the brick, but fortunately Cricut does not have a white pen. I do have a silver metallic, but it's a thicker one, so I thought it would be too thick for that design. Looks a little confusing, but it's not too bad. Let's start with these. There's 2 of them just because we needed to get a little bit of thickness in there so that our Santa can slide nicely. Now this yellow is actually going to be the light for our window, so we want to make sure we glue the yellow on top. So let's do that one first. We'll also do it for that other one. I'm just using the Fairly Art glue. Any good crafter glue should work just fine. I like to keep my glue on the side so it doesn't get clogged or take a while to get back up. And then with my cardstock, I like to put a piece of, get that aligned here. I like to do a piece of towel, fold it in half, and use a brayer just to make sure it's really on there well and doesn't move. And that paper towel will help get all those extra glue that you might have gone too close to the edge. So that one's done, and we'll do the thinner one. Again, yellow on top. And I had a little bit of seepage at the top, but as you can see, it's all nice and clean. So let's go ahead and glue those on since we're here. So I'm flipping the card over, and this one's going to go right in here. So see, that piece there is for the chimney, and this piece here will go there with the chimney there, and then our Santa will slide down here. Just watch out when gluing because you have the window. So I'm going to actually glue on the red, but just make sure you get that little chimney piece. I'm actually going to do just a line here to make sure I get my edge nice. for our other side. This one we'll do the same way. We don't have a window to watch out for, so I'm just going to go directly on the yellow. I always like to flip it over just to make sure it doesn't show on the other side. So there's our card so far. Let's do the window next. We'll go just right there. I have a textured side and a smooth side to my cardstock, but I think I'm going to do the smooth side for this one. So just something to watch out whenever you have textured and non-textured cardstock. Things like, I did like the textured side, but usually when I do pens on cardstock, I try to do the non-textured side, just because the pen will work better on the non-textured side. And seep up that nice glue. Alright, let's do we have some snow that'll go right there, and then some snow on the roof here. Just make sure you line it up the right way. It's off just a smidge if you go that way. And with the white, sometimes it's tricky to remember if they get flipped, so just line things up first before you glue. We got glue there, but just watch, it'll be okay. Sometimes you do need to go in and just get the little extra. This glue does dry clear too, which is nice. So there we go. So our house is pretty well built. It's gonna go on our card like that. So the house will go right on there like that. So let's flip her over and apply our glue. Now Santa's going to be moving up and down here, so we don't want any glue there. We only want it where the white is. I'm going to line it right up with that crease. I'm gonna let that kind of dry just a little bit. We can still see right in there. And we'll work over here now. So let's get Santa built here. We need to put his pants on. Leave just a little bit for his little white fluff. So there's our little Santa. Now let's glue our door. So we folded that end in, and that's going to go right on the edge of our card. This is going to get a lot of tension, so we really want to glue that well. That's what it'll look like when it's closed. Now these two squares, they are some support just to give this more stability. So right where that bend is, we're just going to glue them one on top of the other to give it some support. You can glue one and then the other, you can glue them both together and then glue them on whatever you would like. So that's our Santa. We're going to glue this last once we put him in. So Santa will slide right up the chimney. And there he is. But we need to glue this white to the door. Now we want it to move, so I'm only going to glue to where that crease is. Just be careful, it's still a little wet, but there you go. And then you can pull it down, and this is when we'll see a little Santa. You can line them up however you want. I think that looks pretty good there. One last. Now you really want to make sure this is dry before you start moving it around too much, and really watch the star and Santa's hat. Make sure those are really glued down, and then you kind of press the door to create a crease there, and there's your card. And then just slowly lift it. Now if you notice that it's having some trouble getting in there, you can take a weeding tool or like a paintbrush and just kind of stick it in there to kind of open it up a little bit if needed. Just be careful you don't do it too hard so you don't take up the glue that you just did. Again, ideally you do it when it's already dry. But there's our code, and then we can write inside, put it in an envelope, and mail it to somebody. And it's a fun little code. I think they're really gonna like it. I know I do, so I hope you do too. And I hope you had fun crafting today's gift. I'll see you tomorrow for tomorrow's gift. Bye for now. Happy crafting.